The legendary Lennon-McCartney songwriting credit eventually drove a wedge between Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. McCartney, known for Let It Be, had attempted to adjust the credit on certain songs because digital platforms frequently displayed them as John Lennon and, instead of the traditional Lennon-McCartney. Starr criticized McCartney's decision, describing it as petty and unnecessary. Although the former Wings frontman has since stepped back from the dispute, the issue still sparks heated debate among fans. McCartney clarified that his frustration was not with the credit itself, but with how his name often gets cut off on devices with limited screen space. Ultimately, he admitted that the credit has become an untouchable part of music history, covering both joint and solo works by him and Lennon. At one point, McCartney emphasized that the Lennon-McCartney label remained a rock and roll trademark he was proud of, insisting it should remain in its original order. However, a year before making this statement, he reignited controversy by altering the credit on his live album, Back in the US, which angered Yoko Ono. Even Starr, usually the most peace-oriented of the group, publicly dismissed McCartney's actions as trivial. Ono went as far as threatening legal action, prompting McCartney to back down and ultimately accept that the credit was permanent. Reflecting on the backlash in an interview with The Guardian, he recalled how the situation spiraled. Friends warned him that changing the credit would damage his reputation, and some accused him of trying to erase Lennon's name after his death. McCartney expressed disbelief at such claims, insisting that the accusations were absurd. Tensions over songwriting credit can also be traced back to Ono's refusal to allow Yesterday to be listed solely under McCartney's authorship in the Beatles anthology. Songs that were largely written by one member still carried the Lennon-McCartney tag, something that continued to frustrate both writers long after the band split. Disputes persist among fans regarding songs like Help, Eleanor Rigby, and Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite. McCartney has admitted it still bothers him when people assume Lennon wrote Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite. Lennon once explained in an interview that he drew the lyrics directly from a circus poster, but McCartney argued he was present that same afternoon, contributing ideas as well. In 2013, he recalled that whenever people claimed it was Lennon's sole work, he would question why his involvement at that time was being ignored. Starr also reflected on how the Lennon-McCartney dominance affected him and George Harrison. He explained that over time an attitude developed where John and Paul were perceived as the central figures, leaving him and Harrison feeling more like bystanders within their own band. While Lennon and McCartney never openly expressed such superiority, the imbalance in recognition left Starr feeling like more of an observer than an equal member, despite being part of the Beatles' success.